everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm on a slightly different camera today. My big camera has literally just started to flash at me, so I thought I would change over to my G7X. So it's going to be a little bit different, but we'll I think it looks fine. I think it looks great, so we're just going to roll with it. Today I'm going to be talking you through what I got up to when we went travelling around Bali in Indonesia. So I will warn you now, I mainly have footage and clips from where we were staying in Ubud, but we also stayed in Seminyak and Sanur. Sanur, I don't think I filmed anything because we weren't really, there wasn't really much to see around the area apart from the beach, and the beach wasn't the nicest beach we were on. Seminyak I filmed a little bit, but we happened to be there. Things didn't really work out, but I will explain all of that in a minute. So it will be mainly stuff in Ubud. We did also fly over to Lombok and the Gili Islands, and then we flew back to Bali and stayed around Uluwatu before flying on to our next destination, but that will be in the next video coming up. If you're new, please do not forget to subscribe, and please comment down below if you've been to Bali or you've been to any of these places, or if you could go to Bali, where would you stay? So we landed in Bali on Sunday the 26th of March after staying for just over a month in New Zealand. We flew from Christchurch in New Zealand, which is on the South Island, to Bali, and we had a 9-hour layover in Sydney. If you do want to see what I got up to in New Zealand, then I will leave my New Zealand playlist either in the little information thing or down in the description box below. Now, one thing, if you are flying and you have got a layover in Australia, I will say please do check how long your layover is. It was really confusing online when we looked, but essentially if your layover is over 8 hours, you have to get a temporary 72-hour Australian visa. This did set us back about 30 New Zealand dollars, which is about 15-16 pounds. So try and factor that in if your layover is over 8 hours. Luckily, you are able to get it at the airport, but they really don't like it. Like, the girl gave us a bit of a hard time when she realised we didn't have a visa. When we came out of the airport, we tried to find a taxi. Now, I had read up a little bit about this before we landed, and basically the best way to get the cheapest ride to wherever you're going while avoiding scam taxis is this. The Bluebird taxis in Bali and also in Lombok, they are the ones to go for. Now, there are taxis around that look a bit like the Bluebird taxis because they're trying to scam off the Bluebird taxis, but if you want to get a Bluebird taxi, basically at the top of the windshield it will say like Bluebird taxi. If it just says like the taxi number, that is not a Bluebird taxi. So to find one, you come out of the airport, you avoid all the people yelling different prices at you, you basically keep walking, and you'll come out into where all like there's a car park, multi-storey car park, and you'll see a main road. There is a big kind of long wire fence. If you cross that road, there are Bluebird taxis waiting there. That is how to get the cheapest ride to wherever you're staying. Once we had checked into our hotel in Seminyak, we decided to take a little walk down to the beach and we watched the sunset, and it was just lovely. You could see the mountains silhouetted in the sunset. It was just really peaceful. The beach is huge as well, and there are lots of bars with like bean bags outside, so you can sit with a beer and you can watch the sunset, and it's really rather lovely. Now, we timed our stay really badly, and that is partly my fault. The day after we arrived was the day of silence, basically known as Nyepi Day. Nyepi Day basically means no one goes out. You're not allowed out on the streets, you have to stay inside. Luckily, obviously, hotels, you know, are still functioning, so you can still use the facilities, you can still eat there, you just can't go outside. So basically the day that I had set aside for us to, you know, like chill on the beach, we spent inside, and it was such a lovely day. It was so frustrating, but you know, you have to respect the kind of religious days that they have. So the next day after Nyepi Day, which is kind of the big celebration day, we travelled from Seminyak to Ubud. Ubud is a really amazing place. It's very cultural. It can be a little bit touristy, but we decided to stay in a homestay. Now, a homestay is essentially a traditional kind of housing complex, and what some of the families do is, because they've got lots of different buildings in their like home complex, they will like hire it out. So we basically stayed with the family, which was really amazing. It was just off the main Ubud high street as well, so it wasn't too noisy and we could kind of walk everywhere really easily. As I said before, it is kind of geared to tourism in some ways, but I think you can still enjoy Ubud while still getting some really unique experiences. So of course, if you're in Ubud, you have to go to the sacred monkey forest. This is a must. You just have to go once and experience the craziness of it. So we tried to get here pretty early because it can get quite busy. It's obviously a main tourist attraction, so you're going to get lots of tour groups, so try and get here as early as you can. The temples inside the forest, and obviously the forest itself, is really worth a visit, along with the really cheeky monkeys as well. Now I will stress this, they do tell you there on lots of big signs, but do not bring any food, any water, or any objects that can be grabbed out of your hand or from your bag easily. The monkeys will go for it. If you're holding food, they will go for it. If you've got water bottles in the pocket of your bag, they'll go for that. If you've got sunglasses on your head, they'll try and take that. They do sell bananas inside the forest, so if you want to feed the monkeys and you want them to climb up you, they do let you buy bananas so you can do that, and they will help you take pictures. There are lots of guides in there, so you can always ask them questions as well. The monkeys are really cute. There are lots of little baby ones, so you can take some time taking photos. As I said, just be really careful. Chris basically had a little incident with a monkey who wanted the water bottle, and I'm not talking a little water bottle, like a big litre water bottle, which was in the side of his bag. So I will put that clip in for your enjoyment now.
He's gone for the water. Cheeky thing.
Is it trying to get the water?
Yeah, it's taking the bottle off.
Trying to take the lid off?
Oh my god!
Oh, yes, as well.
Oh my god!
Can you take the bottle out?
Another thing you can do while you're staying in Ubud is do a tour, because there's lots of things kind of around the outside of Ubud. We decided to go through our homestay. The lovely lady offered to drive us around, and we found that going with her was the cheapest option rather than going with some of the tour companies. You get a nice private air-conditioned car, and it's pretty reasonably priced for lots of things that you can do. She was very flexible. She said wherever we wanted to go, we could go. She was basically ours for the day. So the first stop on our little tour with her was to see some traditional Balinese dancing. I think this is the place that we went to. I think it's called the Jambe Cultural Park. I think that's the name. So the dancing that we saw is called barong dancing, and this is the traditional style that tells the tale between a good spirit and a bad spirit. If you've never experienced Balinese dancing before, I would definitely say go and do this. Some people might want to just see something like this once. Some people may love it and want to see it every time they go to Bali. I think it's a great way, again, to experience the culture. There are lots of colourful costumes. There's a very talented band. The music can get a bit repetitive, but it kind of adds to the story, and obviously they speak in the traditional language, so you are only given a very brief storyline and a piece of paper, but you can kind of follow along with it. Make sure you try and get a really comfortable seat though. They have stone seats and wooden chairs. This is quite a long show, so try and get the most comfortable seat possible. Now I'm going to say this next one wrong. We next headed to the Tegalalang rice terraces. If you see a picture of this, this is basically the postcard of Bali. These are the rice terraces that are kind of leveled up the hill with lots of palm trees. It's very green, it's very Bali. These are really stunning, but obviously this is another main tourist attraction, so even though this can get quite busy, you can go as wherever you like in the rice fields. So if you go further down into the kind of valley, you can find some areas where you are completely alone. It's definitely worth an explore, and there actually are some rice farmers there working. You can get a picture with them, just give them a tip. They are always looking for an extra tip to their normal wage. So if they come up to you, they're completely harmless, have a nice picture with them and just pay them a little something as a thank you. We then went to the elephant caves. Now this is a traditional temple, so you have to cover your legs, and I can't remember whether I had to cover my arms, I can't remember. But as well as the temple, there are also some really lovely gardens that you can walk around. It's very peaceful, it's very quiet, it's very big as well. So again, even though you do get some tourists groups going there, it's definitely not as busy as some of the other places I've talked about. Also, because the caves are set in rainforest, it's actually quite cool there, so as it's quite sheltered from the sun, you can spend quite a long while here without overheating. We then were heading back into Ubud, and she was going to drop us off at the Royal Palace. However, when we got to the Royal Palace, we walked out, we said goodbye to her, she drove off, and the heavens opened. And now when I say the heavens opened, Bali rain is unlike anything I have ever seen in my life. It pours, and it's not just a quick, short, sharp shower. This is like torrential rain for a good half an hour. So everyone kind of ran for shelter. We had shelter under one of the bandstands, but we were there for quite a while, and in the end it kind of eased off. The whole kind of floor bit was flooded, so we literally just had to make a dash for it, and we got home a bit soggy. After that, we flew on to Lombok, and we also went to the Gili Islands, and then, as I said, we flew back to Bali. But that is going to be all in the next vlog. So that is it. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope this has been helpful if any of you are thinking of visiting Bali and are looking at some places to go. Please leave some comments down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!